Hey, it's Korinn, 365 Days of Open Heart Living, day 139, anxiety. Anxiety strikes, and sometimes when you have true anxiety, sometimes it just can come out of nowhere and hit you. And the physical ramifications of anxiety can be that tightness in the chest. You can feel nauseous, you can feel dizzy, you can feel like you're going to pass out, you can have heart racing. There can be sensations in your body that are like a trigger that when they start to come on, you feel like you're going to have a panic attack. Anxiety can be physically intense. And when we have anxiety, whether it's a small bout or a big bout that takes us over, there is a certain amount of energy that is expelled in kind of like a burst, an intensity. Maybe not a burst, but like an intensity, like the intensity builds, and it's just, we kind of just get jittery and speedy feeling, or we feel like our heart's racing, or maybe we start to sweat, perspire. There's lots of things that happen physically when you have a bout of anxiety. Anxiety is like a general term because you can just have anxiety like in general, like throughout the day, just be kind of anxious, feel on edge, feel uneasy, or you can have anxiety strike. And when it strikes, that's when the intensity kind of ramps up from what your normal level, your normal baseline of anxious feeling or not, comfort and discomfort is, and it bumps up to the level that is no longer comfortable. And it can, it can take you down. It can make you feel like you need to take a step away from what you're doing because you're feeling super anxious, and it can make you react. It can make you lash out in your anxiety, make you feel panicky. It can make your mind spin. There are physical symptoms of anxiety that happen, and they are also connected to those emotional and those mental symptoms as well. The thoughts of, when you start to notice the anxiousness come in, then your head starts to spin. If it's something that has began as an anxious thought, and your thinking is what is spiraling and spinning the physical effect of the anxiety, then that is going to be the precursor. Like maybe you're worried about something. Maybe, somebody was supposed to be home at a certain time and they're not, and you can't get a hold of them. And so the anxiety is like up. Maybe it's that you're worried about having a conversation with somebody and you are anticipating that it's not going to go well. And so your anxiety is up and your mind is spinning and spiraling and creating that anxiety. Or emotionally, when we have, I kind of feel like, well, it's all integrated: physical, mental, emotional. Like, how do we separate emotional anxiety from mental anxiety? I think the mental anxiety is the thinking, the processing of how we're feeling, and the emotional anxiety is noticing how we're feeling, like that something feels uneasy. We feel uneasy, we feel anxious, we feel that spike in how we feel physically because emotionally, maybe we're dealing with something. It's interesting too because sometimes anxiety has nothing to do with thoughts or emotions. And that's the type of anxiety I find I am experiencing today because I just feel kind of anxious. I've talked about this before. I do believe that sometimes I'll have some mornings where I'll just wake up and just feel anxious for no reason. Like I'm just waking up for the day and just feel kind of like on edge, anxious. The body just feels like jittery, kind of speedy, just kind of like, um, and there's nothing, I didn't wake up in a mood. I didn't wake up with my mind racing. It's just a physical feeling. So isn't that fascinating that we are integrated being, and we have those different dimensions of our being that when we have anxiety, it can be precursored by anything on those different levels. It can be precursored by something mental, a mental trigger. It can be an emotional trigger. It can be like fear, right? Or worry can emotionally trigger us to get into an anxious state of being. But physically, too, this is the fascinating thing. Physically, we can have anxiety start, and it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with our thoughts or our emotions. When anxiety starts just in the body, there's something else that is the precursor that is just simply physical. And that's a fascinating way to look at anxiety, because typically in, I'll say, Western med, it's looked at as a mental health issue. It's looked at as starting in the mind or associated with emotionally feeling anxious. And I do believe that the physical body is given credibility within how anxiety is described and how it is said to, be experienced in the Western medicine. But does the physical body in Western medicine, is it given credibility for being the precursor to actually having a bout of anxiety? I don't know. Maybe, some in some way, as different things can put our body in a depleted state or a state where we feel more on edge, and then that can roll over into anxiety. you know I mean, it's interesting, and I don't know. I don't know that much about, I guess, the medical diagnosis of anxiety and what that kind of looks like. Yeah, but what is interesting, when your physical state is a precursor to your anxiety, is just that awareness that anxiety is not necessarily something that has to do with the way that you think or the things that you are feeling, because the body can produce anxiety with an imbalance in something. Like I said, when we're depleted, maybe when we have ingested too much of something, or we um, don't have enough sleep, or exhaustion. I feel like, so I got anxiety today at the later part of the day at work, and it was a chill day at work. Nothing could have triggered it, mentally or emotionally. It just kind of crept in. And what I noticed was, earlier in the day, the office had ordered drinks, coffee drinks, and I had had one, and so I had a little bit more caffeine than my body's used to. And last couple nights, I have only gotten about like 5.5, 6 hours of sleep. And so I feel physically depleted too. And I think it's just that. I think it's lack of sleep and a little bit more caffeine. And I feel good, as far as like I'm content, I'm happy, no mental or emotional reason for me to feel anxiety. Yet physically, my body is like, that baseline has crept up, and I'm like, like just feel like kind of jittery, kind of racy, just like, like you want to crawl out of your skin sometimes when you have anxiety. Like it just doesn't feel good. So to counter that, or to counter mental or emotionally triggered anxiety as well, what you can do is go to the body, feel in the body, specifically feel in the heart center. And that physical feeling can be a momentary antidote of relaxing that charge that's like wobbly within you. momentary because in the moment of doing the meditation and feeling the heart, you are in a state, space, and in gathering that other energy and dispelling, allowing the dispelling of that charge to relax, then it is a momentary antidote. Let's experience that now. And I say momentary, meaning in a moment it occurs. In a moment of meditation, you can give yourself relief from your amped up, anxious feeling, no matter what the trigger is. But specifically when it's in how you feel in your body. Because doing meditation brings you to the center of feeling yourself, opening your heart, and allowing that charge to dissipate and relax. The pericardium in acuenergetics, taught by Kevin Nefero, is taught to, and this comes from traditional Chinese medicine too. That's where it was originally taken from for acuenergetics. But it is the organ that bears the burden of your emotional stressors. The pericardium is the fluid filled sac around the heart. And if the charge is built there in tightness, tension, whether it's because of physical energy, emotional, or mental energy, then that can trip us up into that state of anxiousness. The inner smile meditation, when you put your attention in your heart and you feel, relaxes that physical pericardium, emotionally relaxes the energy that has been built up and pent up of an emotional charge in that pericardium, and has an effect on your mental tension associated with your anxiety as well. Go ahead and close your eyes. First, just feel your breath as you breathe in and out. Allow yourself to become more presently aware of feeling your breath. And now I'm doing the inner smile. We're going to do the cycle of thinking of something that makes you smile. When you think of that thing that makes you smile, then feel in your heart and stay with the feeling sense of your heart's energy of the smile. Think of something that brings a smile to your lips now. And feel. When that feeling in your heart starts to fade, or your mind starts to wander, repeat that same inner smile cycle of thinking of the thought that makes you smile, smiling and then feeling in the heart the openness of that energy in your heart center. As you're feeling, you might notice that you're feeling the anxiety too. And I encourage you, when you feel this, just to feel it openly from the heart and to come back to that practice of thinking of something to make you smile. A smile is what lightens and opens your heart and expels that stuck charge, that stuck electricity of tension. It expels that tension held in your body at your heart center, at the pericardium. Repeat the cycle again and again as needed for relaxing the heart and allowing the anxiety to dissipate. as you get deeper into the practice, linger longer at the heart center and just notice what you feel. The feeling sense is the opening. And if you are experiencing tightness or relaxation, both can be the opening. So just notice how your heart feels and be open and experiencing it with your awareness. Rest in the feeling sense of the heart. Feel the heart. And when you're ready, open your eyes. This is a form of energy therapy. You are doing energy therapy on yourself in the means that you are facilitating an opening of flow of your bioelectrical energy, that stagnation of tension in the pericardium in the heart center has relaxed and opened through the feeling sense, through your practice of the inner smile and your open awareness. And in that opening, there's less charge that's built up. I kept getting this vision as we were doing this of, as my heart energy got bigger, it became this field of healing, open energy, that the tighter energy of the heart was within. So it was like I could feel the tension in my heart physically, in my body, the heart center, the center of my chest was tight. I could feel that, but then I could feel the open energy of my heart, the, what's it called? Bioelectric? No, really electromagnetic. That's what it's called. The electromagnetic field of the heart. I could feel that field and the tension within it. And as I was feeling the field, the tension was like releasing and relaxing out, expanding into the space of the electromagnetic field of the heart, bigger than the physical, the spiritual heart, the non-physical heart, that can expand and does contract depending upon where we are holding our anxiety. if we are holding anxiety, if we are experiencing it, if we're experiencing other things too, the heart can contract. But speaking about anxiety specifically, it gets us all balled up. And then in the practice of the inner smile and feeling, we expand in the feeling of it. And that which was held in tension is released in healing. And so much more is happening too with expanding and feeling the heart. You're creating a steadiness in yourself, a steadiness to deal with emotion, mind, a little bit easier with resilience, to be less swayed in it. And the physical body benefits, and not only a decrease in the tension held, but an increase of flow of energy, openness in the system of the heart, so that your emotions flow better, so that your mind can be clearer, so that your heart can be more open, for you to live your true heart, not your garbled heart that's bogged down and heavy, but your heart that is light, the light in your heart that emanates through you. And it's much easier to feel that and express that and be in tune with it in openness. It's not easy to be in touch with the light of your heart in your anxiety. So this beautiful practice can connect you to you and feeling and experiencing yourself in openness, even in experiencing how you feel in your anxiety, and bring in a little bit more light to your heart to settle and soothe and be a healing practice. Healing the energy that you carry, the energy that you are, and laying groundwork for the energy that you will put forth to live your heart.